Peace be with you. My name is Allan Keislar. I'm always thinking about self-sufficient villages. And today I want to talk about time and timelines, the Mandela Effect. And I'll explain why I've chosen this topic in a minute. But first of all, we must understand time is not what the usual idea about it is. Time is not just a single stream, like a river flowing. That's a common idea in the world today. But time is actually quite different than that. Time is more like an agreed upon hypnosis, you might say. In other words, a lot of people agree to accept a certain version of reality which appears to be a historical timeline. It's not actually a historical timeline, but we agree to accept a certain reality, and that becomes standard. The fact is, however, there are multiple timelines that are existing at the same time. It's more like a delta of a river, where there are many different streams flowing together. And we can actually move from one timeline to another, and we have. And probably the most significant example of this is what's called the Mandela Effect, because of the fact that many people, even now, people remember, they could swear, they remember that Nelson Mandela, at that time the African freedom fighter, South African freedom fighter, was in jail, and he died in jail. But other people remember, and our news media tells us, and our history books tell us, that no, Mandela did not die in prison, but he was released from prison. There was an amazing movement against the apartheid system, and he was released from prison and he became the president of South Africa. So it's kind of confusing to people who can remember, well, no, wait, I'm sure that Nelson Mandela died in prison. I can't understand why that memory is there. Well, the reason the memory is there is because those people can remember what really happened to them on a certain timeline, and then the timeline was shifted, or you can say the earth was shifted to a different timeline. But both those memories are correct. It's not that one is true and the other is false. They're both correct. And another proof of this, there are many hundreds of examples that could be given of people having a certain memory, and then that isn't what happened, according to the later version of things. So another proof of this is about time travel. Now this, of course, is not well known. It's not been publicized by the mass media or taught in our educational systems. But if you study it carefully, you'll be able to find out that actually the CIA in America had developed time travel back in the 1970s at the latest. And then they developed this idea, if we can travel in time, we can go back in time and we can change something that happened that we don't want to happen. We don't want to have happened. And they actually started doing that. And they made a number of changes in history. And then what turned out, however, they didn't really change history. All they did was shift the timeline. So they shifted from one series of events on one timeline to another series of events on another timeline. And they started doing this more and more before they really understood what they were doing. And finally, it started causing a lot of problems. I'll just leave it at that. You can do research and find out yourself about the CIA's secret time travel programs. Andrew Basiago was the first American child who was teleported back in time, and he went to the time of when President Lincoln in America spoke the famous Gettysburg Address. He was specifically sent back to that time. And amazingly, a photograph of him was taken. You can see a picture of the young, I think he was 11 years old, Andrew Basiago, there at the time of Lincoln giving the Gettysburg Address, because he was literally sent back in time to that time. So there's plenty of proof uh, that there are such things as time travel and timeline shifts. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up is because, as many of you know, the mission that I have been given by higher authorities is to work towards reconciliation of differences between different religions, and especially Islam and Christianity. Because, as you probably know, if you don't, you will find out soon, but you should know that there are many satanic people who are trying to create a war, a world war, between Islam and the Western countries, so-called Christian countries. But that war has already been postponed or canceled, and the satanic people are very upset about this because their plans have not happened, what they wanted to create this world war. They're still trying, but it's not going to happen in our timeline that we're on, by the mercy of God, and especially by the mercy of the Virgin Mary. She has been praying and asking us to pray for peace and love between people. And so actually that destined nuclear war has been canceled. Those people are still trying to create division between Muslims and Christians particularly. So there is a big problem in reconciling Muslims and Christians, and that is the crucifixion of Jesus. Most Christians, practically all Christians, believe not only that Jesus was crucified, but that his crucifixion is the most important thing about their faith, because he died on the cross and he suffered on the cross for our sins. And that is practically, that is the core of the faith of many Christians. On the other hand, in the Holy Quran, and according to the belief of most Muslims, Jesus did not die on the cross, or, depending on how you want to interpret it, people thought he died on the cross, but really he didn't. So what is the explanation here? Different timelines. And that's why I gave a little bit of background about timelines, so you would understand that it is a fact that there are different timelines. And the explanation that I was given when I inquired, I prayed very sincerely about this and begged for guidance and understanding, and I was told that the best way to understand this is to understand that there are different timelines. And on one timeline, Jesus was crucified, and on another timeline, Jesus was not crucified. So both of these narratives are true. Both of them are correct. And if we understand this, that will resolve this great dispute that's been going on for many centuries between Muslims and Christians regarding the crucifixion of Jesus. So I just wanted to say this because I know that this is a huge problem, and if Muslims and Christians are to be reconciled, this issue of the crucifixion of Jesus must be resolved, and this is the explanation that I have been given. I won't say by whom it has been given because people will object. Why are you claiming that? But in any case, that explanation was given to me by a very well acknowledged, accepted, authorized source. So, all right, that's all I wanted to say. Because, in conclusion, in our self-sufficient villages, in Pakistan also, and in other parts of the world, there will be Muslims and Christians and people of other religions together. So this issue, these differences must be resolved. So this is the resolution I was given, I was explained to. This was explained to me. All right, I'm just going to take a couple of questions because I have some friends coming over this morning and I will have to make this a short chat, and then I'll just have a short YouTube live chat also right after this. Okay, I'm not going to read all of the comments. Urdu, please. Okay, what I will do, I will give my chat in Urdu on YouTube. So if अगर आप उर्दू बोलते हैं, अंग्रेज़ी नहीं समझते हैं, तो मेरे YouTube चैनल में इसके बाद आप जाइए और उसमें मैं उर्दू में बात करूँगा. Okay, so we're having request for Urdu, please. That seems to be really the only comment. Otherwise, we have Asalamu alikum and hello. All right, then I will end now, and I ask all of you, please pray about this. This is a very, very difficult topic, extremely contentious topic, but please try to understand it's true. I'm convinced it's true. And one thing there's no doubt about, time is not what we think it is. Time does exist, more like a delta of a river with many streams rather than a single river flowing, and we can actually move from one timeline or one river, one of the streams in the delta to another. It's possible, it happens, it has happened, and there is sufficient proof of it from both the Mandela Effect and from the CIA's time travel experiments, which they finally found out it was causing too many problems when they were doing that. So, okay, I'm going to end now. I'll see if there's one question about this topic. No, I guess not. I don't see any questions at all about this, so we will end. And अभी मैं उर्दू में यूट्यूब चैनल पे, मेरा यूट्यूब चैनल है youtube.com/c/Allan.Keislar. अगर आप पहले मेरे यूट्यूब चैनल में नया है, उसको कुछ मुख्तलिफ यूट्यूब चैनल्स हैं मेरे नाम पे, लेकिन मेरे असली चैनल है youtube.com/c/Allan Keislar Real. ALLANKEISLAR REAL. Okay. Allah Hafiz. May God protect us all.